It could be you who is sick or somebody you love. Learn today that solving equations means saving lives. This is just one out of millions of examples of equations which people solve in different professions to save lives from different perspectives, from different concerns of life. These are medical doctors trying to save this man's life. It is possible that elsewhere an engineer is also trying to solve a life-threatening problem, and he also depends on equations. Other professionals depend on equations. At this point, let me make it clear that in mathematics, we just have two categories. Mathematics that we refer to as pure mathematics and applied mathematics. Pure mathematics is just the study of behavior of numbers without any original intention to apply it to real life, just studying how numbers behave. But when mathematics is now applied to make life easier, to handle real life problems, such as this one we are discussing, we then refer to it as applied mathematics. When a mathematical equation contains at least one variable, it is called algebraic equation. Therefore, that equation 3t raised to the power 5 is equal to 1,500,000 is an algebraic equation. Don't forget that earlier, the full equation was expressed as n is equal to 3 raised to the power 5. In that foremost equation, n and d were variables. That means in that we have two variables. We must not have up to two variables in a particular equation before we call it an algebraic equation. When an equation does not contain any variable at all, we could refer to it as constant equation. For instance, if I say 7 plus 2 is equal to 9, that is an equation. Why? It tells us an operation which is adding 7 to 2. And in the same statement, we are told the result, which is 9. A number operation and the result stated together is what we refer to as mathematical equation. And in that equation, 7 plus 2 is equal to 9. There is no variable given. Only constants are involved. And that is why I called it constant equation. But in n is equal to 3 raised to the power 5, there are two variables, n and t. There are other equations that may contain more than two variables. But we're saying here that any equation that contains at least one variable, is called algebraic equation. Therefore, 3 raised to the power 5 is equal to 1,500,000 is an algebraic equation. Don't forget that this equation was generated by diagnosis. A man is sick, and this equation was discovered to be useful in monitoring and tracking the growth of bacteria. What if these doctors who are treating the sick man do not know how to find the value of this d? You see, The D in that equation represents the day that the bacteria in the sick man's body will grow up to 1,500,000. What it means is that if they must find it, if they must know that day, they should solve that equation. They should solve that equation. It means they must find the value of D using 3 zeros to the power 5 is equal to 1,500,000. If they solve and they get D is equal to 10 or something close to 10, it gives them an idea that after 10 days, those bacteria in the man's body will be up to 1,500,000. If they get D is equal to 12, it means that after 12 days, the bacteria in the man's body will grow up to 1,500,000. We don't know what they're going to find as the value of this D, but it is very clear that the man's life is hanging onto this equation. So it is important that they know which day the man would die if the cure is not found quickly. What if the doctors do not know how to go about this? How to find the day by solving for D in that equation? And they come to you for assistance. Can you assist them? Can you solve that equation? 3 zeros to the power 5 is equal to 1,500,000. Anyway, this is why we're here. This is why you are to listen. If you don't know how to solve it, then listen to me, cooperate with me, be patient as I develop facts, as I present principles and laws that will enable you to know how to solve this equation and other related equations. Don't forget that this is a life-saving equation. By now, you must have known that learning to solve this equation is not just about the happiness associated with dealing with numbers. If you're able to solve and get the value of G, your happiness will lie not in the answer, but what the answer represents. Therefore, because it is life-saving, everybody, every reasonable person will not mind the pains, the headache, the stress associated with solving equations, having known that the answer will save life somewhere, and lack of the answer or failure to get the answer will kill somebody somewhere. It could be you who is sick. There are many other equations in other professions that are used in saving lives, in solving real life problems. Just know it that each time we are solving equation, we are trying to solve a problem somewhere. In pure mathematics, it is not always easy to know the reason you are solving an equation. Why? It is because most of the time, what you see as variables in equations in pure mathematics will be either x or y, and sometimes just a few other variables. X may not have a real meaning to you. Y may not have a real meaning to you. But this equation, n is equal to 3 raised to the power 5, presents a real meaning to you. Those variables, n and d, have real life meanings to you. But you know that they have real life meanings only because we know the angle. We know from which source it is coming. It is coming from medical practice. It is coming from healthcare. pure mathematics does not serve a particular profession, it serves all professions. It is only in applied mathematics like this one that we know what each variable represents. But in pure mathematics, we usually don't know why the variables are there. Again, look at that equation. N is equal to 3 to the power 5. I hope you know that N depends on D, which means at the same time D depends on N, which means that when N is known, D can be found. When D is known, N can be found. At this point in time, a variable that depends on the other, which means, for instance, in this expression, because we have replaced the number of bacteria as 1,500,000, we have determined the number that we want to use to solve the equation. That means it is the day we're looking for. So the day, in this case, depends on the number. So the number has been fixed. Then the day is what we don't know. That means the day, in this case, depends on the number we want to achieve. So the number that was fixed there without any rule, except that that is the day the person will die, is called independence variable. While that day, which we're looking for, that depends on that fixed number, is called dependent variable. In pure mathematics, that is, mathematics of just playing with numbers, mathematics of manipulating numbers, without necessarily doing so because of solving a problem in any profession. As I said earlier, it is not the N and the D that are usually employed. Variously, in pure mathematics, X and Y have been applied. Y has come to represent all dependent variables, while X have come to represent all independent variables. The implication, therefore, is that if this equation N is equal to 3d raised to the power 5, which is customized to medicine or to fit into medicine, were to be recast in pure mathematics as if somebody does not know why it is being solved, that N will be replaced with Y, while that D will be replaced with X, so that in the end, Y is equal to 3x raised to the power 5. Anyway, in that expression, Y is equal to 3x raised to the power 5. Y has come to replace the N, and the X has come to replace that D. If somebody sees that for the first time, Y is equal to 3x raised to the power 5, without knowledge of the background of that equation, he would also not know the importance of that equation. You are trying to solve the other one, N is equal to 3 to the power 5, because you know the source and you know the reason why we want to solve it. You want to save life with it. But this one, Y is equal to 3x raised to the power 5, if you are told to solve it without prior information as to the importance of what Y means and what X means, you will not have the endurance, the spirit to persevere, to keep solving it until you get the correct answer, because of the stress and headache associated with the process. And what more, you don't know why you're solving it. So why must you die in the process? So knowing why we solve equations makes us persevere in solving them. At this point in time, let us just turn to pure mathematics and learn how to solve equations. Whether it is in pure mathematics or applied mathematics, the principles, the laws, every fact about behavior of numbers is the same. It is when we learn pure mathematics that we apply what we have learned in professional mathematics.